Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. I have never ever really been one for multiplayer PvP games, or multiplayer games in general. I am, for the most part, a single-player gamer. However, I do absolutely enjoy some co-op with friends. But I gotta admit, it's thanks to the awesome, epic, fantastic, amazing video game that is Titanfall that I have expanded my horizons and have tried out and played more PvP multiplayer games. But Titanfall to me will always be king. To this very day, I have never played another multiplayer shooter, okay, maybe Rainbow Six Siege, that has given me such adrenaline, imagination, entertainment, excitement, joy. For those of you who watched my top 10 favorite games of 2014, which you should really go watch that video by the way, I listed Titanfall as one of my favorite games of that year. Hell, if it wasn't for a couple other games that released that year, some other really good games, Titanfall would have been my #1 favorite game of that year. I've played a lot of multiplayer games. I've played a lot of first-person shooters. But Titanfall for me was that game that found the right balance of what I always liked and thought could be possible with multiplayer, while taking all the things I love and truly love from single-player action games. To this day, before and after the release of Titanfall, I have never played a multiplayer video game that was as action-packed, as spectacular, and brimming with absolutely amazing, memorable moments as Titanfall. The way Titanfall does this is through, well, a great many things. First off, there's the AI minions, the grunts and specters. Not only do they make the world and the maps and the levels feel more alive, but they also fill up the empty areas of the map. Now, this is a problem with a lot of multiplayer games. Players who can't find other players to fight. The AI minions allow for consistent action, for the players to be constantly engaged and in some way helping the team. On top of that, the minions just look really cool. The grunts and specters are really well designed and have brilliant animations, dialogue, and interactions with one another. Like seeing grunts and specters get into fights with one another. It's some really cool shit. Then we have the player movement, or pilot movement in this case. The wall running, the double jumping, the grabbing on ledges, the hanging on walls, the parkour. There are times where I play Titanfall and I feel like I'm flying. The movement in this game is so smooth, so responsive, so fluid. And once you start chaining, double jumping, and wall running together, you feel limitless, weightless. And it's an amazing feeling that I have never experienced from any other first-person shooter ever. And then we have the coup de grace, the home run, the actual title characters of the game, the Titans. I think it's pretty needless to say that if you're a fan of robots or mechs, the Titans are pretty fucking awesome. Not only in their design, because they are so intricately designed. Oh my goodness, all the details on the models. All the little scratches and screws and bells and whistles. Such wonderfully designed characters. Or creations, however you want to describe them. And then there's the actual gameplay of the Titans, and how they literally change everything. While the smooth parkour movement of the pilots does really change and alter the way you would play any other first-person shooter, the Titans add that little extra something that brings it full circle. The Titans do a number of things. They empower the player. They are a tool for creating action and player-created set pieces throughout the match, something that you would usually see in a single-player game. An epic explosion or takedown of an enemy, something like that. The Titans provide that spectacle. And on top of all that, the Titans add this extra layer of dynamic gameplay, options, choices, and replayability. I really never ever could understand how there are people out there that say they got bored of Titanfall after playing it for a week. I really can't understand that. Because the whole dynamic of switching from pilot to Titan on the fly, and what weapons and equipment you equipped your pilot and your Titan loadouts with, just completely alter your gameplay style. For instance, you could deck out your pilot to be more of a sniper, while you could deck out your Titan to be more close quarters, and vice versa. Maybe you want your pilot to focus on stealth, equipping the special ability of Cloak and putting silencers on your weapons, while maybe have your Titan playing a supportive role, equipping your Titan with a particle wall to to provide portable cover for Titans and pilots, and maybe bring a triple threat grenade launcher or arc cannon to hurt multiple enemies at once. There are so many goddamn possibilities and combinations of pilot and Titan loadouts. I have never played another first-person shooter that was almost like a game within a game within a game. Playing as a pilot almost feels like a separate game. Playing as a Titan almost feels like a separate game. Playing all the PvP game modes compared to the PvE game mode almost feel like completely separate games. And yet they're all the same game and still feel like the same game. And when I talk about PvP and PvE game modes, Titanfall is a multiplayer only game. It has a heavy focus on player versus player multiplayer, with your typical team deathmatch, capture the flag, control the points type of game modes. But its PvE game mode, Frontier Defense, is not only my favorite game mode, but one players of all skills can play, yet still be very challenging. And Frontier Defense is such a great PvE mode. It's your typical horde mode, but with so many twists and turns and unique enemy types that have you change your strategies on the fly, switching you from playing more aggressively to defensively, setting up defensive perimeters and ambushes, tracking and alerting the team of enemy movements, just talking and communicating to the team in general. And on top of all that, just the simple joy of completely and utterly devastating hordes of enemies while gunfire and explosions fill the screen. Just friggin' awesome. You guys already know Titanfall is one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time, but it's also quite frankly one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time. While not my favorite multiplayer of all time, that's a bit of a tie-up between Mass Effect 3 and Warframe, let's say if I made like a top 5 favorite multiplayer games, Titanfall would be up there. And if I separated the categories of PvP and PvE, Titanfall would be number 1 in PvP, and somewhere in the top 5 in PvE, because it's one PvE game mode, Frontier Defense, is just so damn good. Now, while other great multiplayer shooters have come out, like Rainbow Six Siege and maybe Star Wars Battlefront, I still love Titanfall. I still come back to Titanfall. And while some brand new and awesome new first-person shooter multiplayer games are on the horizon, Battleborn, Doom, and Overwatch, and while I'm certainly excited for those games and I have no doubt I will enjoy their multiplayers, I'm more than likely still going to enjoy Titanfall more and keep coming back to Titanfall. To me, Titanfall is the king of action multiplayer FPS games. It's the king. It holds the crown for me. It's a game I can just come back to again and again and just have a hell of a time. On top of that, shockingly, I was really worried for a while. I was really worried that Titanfall around this time would be dead, no one would be playing anymore since it is a multiplayer only video game, which, oh my god, why have they not fixed this? EA, Respawn, can we have some bots, please? Can we have an option to play the game modes with the players being replaced by bots? I mean, come on, I know you guys can do this. You can do this. You can do this to Titanfall right now. Why are there not bots in Titanfall? Come on. That is literally the only thing holding back Titanfall. If Titanfall had multiplayer bots that replace the players, if it had that option, this would be one of my favorite games of all time. The only reason it's not one of my favorite games of all time is because it doesn't have bots. Why does it not have bots? As a matter of fact, why does Star Wars Battlefront not have bots? Why does Rainbow Six Siege not have bots? I mean, bots! Come on! I know you guys can make bots. I know you developers can make bots. Why don't you put bots in your games? Jesus Christ. I'm getting off topic. Point is, there are still people playing Titanfall. There's still a dedicated community and fan base. There are even community tournaments being held still. Titanfall still has a strong community and fan base and people that just keep coming back to the game. It may not be in the millions like with Call of Duty, but the people that do come back to play are people who are passionate about the game and love the game and have a blast playing the game, such as myself. And Titanfall to me will always be the king of FPS multiplayer video games. However, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions? Please leave them in the comment section below. I love reading comments. To get nearly enough comments, please leave a comment. If you like the video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved with the video if you hit the like button. And if you want to support me and the channel and this video, then please share this video on social media, Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to help me out and support me personally, then please pledge and become a patron on my Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I will see you all later.